10 points and 6 places separate Bournemouth and West Ham in the league table. But funnily enough, I think probably one team is going to have more confidence going into it than the other. And I don't think it's West Ham. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. Match preview for West Ham versus Bournemouth. Of course, Andoni Iraola has got the Cherries revelling down on the south coast, and West Ham stalling slightly with the lack of involvement from Kudus and Paqueta and Bowen in recent weeks, but hopefully them back involved in this one should give us a fighting chance. Tom from Back of the Net Bournemouth channel is joining us to discuss the Bournemouth side of things. Tom, how are you?
Yeah, very well, mate. Very well. I think it'll be an interesting game, this one.
Yeah, it should be. So just run through Bournemouth season, because I spoke to you just before the season started when you appointed Iraola and everybody was slagging off Bournemouth for letting go Gary O'Neill. And I can see you smiling now. You said to me at the time, let's just see what happens. And now, 6 or 7 months on, are you quite happy with the decision that Bournemouth made?
Yeah, definitely, mate. And that's no disrespect to Gary O'Neill at all, because it's worked for him as well. He never would have got the Wolves job if we hadn't let him go and given him that opportunity in the first place. And it's going all right for him as well. So I think it's been a nice fit for both sides. I think from our perspective, I think people look at Bournemouth as little Bournemouth with their little ground. But if you actually looked at the squad and looked at the players that we brought in, I think that the owners just felt that we didn't need to just sit back and be overly respectful of opposition and try and counter. We've got good players, and we can go toe to toe with teams and just be a little bit more front foot, really. And that's what Iraola has done. Didn't start very well. Knew it would take a little bit of time. Fixtures were tough at the start, but I always felt confident we could turn the corner, and we did that. And we're in a very healthy position. Not normally in kind of January, February, are we already feeling safe. So it's a really good place to be, mate. Really enjoying the football. It's a lot more pleasing on the eye. And we've had a lot of injuries as well. So we're doing really, really well. And I think we can just kick on from there now and hopefully continue this upward trajectory. We've lost the last couple, but we had a really good run before that. So, yeah, feeling positive, mate.
Fair enough. I think it's the same sort of issue that we've had at West Ham in terms of do you want to grind out results and see where that gets you, or take a bit of a risk and get in somebody that's going to play a more expansive style of football, and then the reward will come a little bit later on. Of course, I think when we played you last year when it was Moyes versus O'Neill, I think it was very similar tactics, sort of butting heads with each other. Whereas this time around, Moyes hasn't changed. He's never going to change. So you can expect what you can expect from that, but I'm quite looking forward to seeing a fully functioning sort of Iraola side go for it, because Moyes will want that, because Moyes is going to part the bus 8 men behind the ball and let's get you on the counter attack, which is what we do, and I'm sure you've had that in the past as well, and I think it's about finding that balance. And when I was looking at Bournemouth stuff back in November, when you've gone on quite a bad run, everyone opposition fans saying like, get rid of him, he'll be gone, and you're stuck with him. It seems like it's starting to pay off now. It's just finding that balance between the results, don't get me wrong, and the style of football as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. We were speaking on our preview about West Ham, and I actually mentioned that I felt there were similarities with the wider media and then the fan base watching it every week. And because I think it's quite easy, a bit like what people were doing when we had Gary O'Neill, to go, well, why do the fans not like him? I mean, he's doing what expected, and everyone's saying, obviously, with West Ham, they've won in Europe, then in the top half of the league, doing well. Why would you want to get rid of Moyes? And then if you look a little bit deeper into it, you go, well, Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen, like, why are they playing counter attack? Why are they sitting so deep and trying to nick things? Because what could happen if they really went a little bit more front foot. So I totally appreciate why West Ham fans, or some West Ham fans, are on that, really, because every time I've watched you guys, I've always felt it's not very great to watch, but then you'll nick something and you'll defend really well, be organised, and you go, okay, they got the result, fair enough. But I've never felt, from a neutral point of view, that I've been excited when you're on the telly, for example. And when you look at some of the quality that you have in the team, it's a little bit of a surprise in that aspect. But you are going to be tough to break down, and I'm just glad that a few of them hopefully are still out. A lot of Bournemouth fans were happy that Garner went out because we got Semenyo back, and I went, hang on, because Kudus is back now, so I'm a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite refreshing for an opposition fan to sort of see, when you get West Ham fans go on TalkSport and say, "I want Moyes out," and then you get Jamie O'Hara and never go, "What? You're sixth in the league. You won the Conference League. You've done this. You've done that." But the issue that these pundits have is that they don't have to watch this every week. And yes, it is quite tough to watch. And we've gone through periods this season. West Ham. We started off brilliantly, and I think the draw we got against you is the only sort of not 100% result we got, all the way up until the middle of September, I think it was, when we played Liverpool and City back to back. So it was a positive start. Then we went down, and then we've sort of reared our head again during the Christmas period. Beat Man United, beat Arsenal, beat Spurs in that period, and now we lost Bowen, Kudus, Paqueta, again, all in one period. And of course, when you lose, 5 of your best players, the team is going to suffer. And this is the first game now where, I mean, you won't like to hear it. This is the first game where we're starting to get them all back together. We're expecting Kudus to be back and play for the first time since the middle of December, which is nice. Bowen's been back for a couple of weeks now, so hopefully he will be there as well. Paqueta's still a doubt, but I am 70% sure that we'll see both Kudus and Bowen, which is so refreshing from us. I mean, we're coming to the end of the January transfer window now. How has it been for Bournemouth? Have there been any needed additions that have been added, or?
No, we haven't. I mean, we haven't done anything in terms of incomings of yet. A lot have gone, but a lot of fringe players have gone, basically. And I think it's one of them where, because we're in a position where we're relatively comfortable, but we're not going to, be going for Europe, but we're probably not going to be in a relegation scrap. I think it's a chance now maybe to, loan some players out, get rid of some players, keep that FFP and all that stuff. And we don't have to do too much. I think it will be interesting. I think Kiefer Moore wants more minutes. So if he were to go on loan, we might try and get someone in to replace him as a backup to Dom, because, if anything happened to him and we didn't have Kiefer, we'd be in trouble. David Brooks has just gone on loan to Southampton. Bit of a surprise because he was good for the squad, but just wasn't playing enough. Was a backup, really. Same with Joe Rothwell, gone out on loan. A few loans out. Hamid Traore's gone. Marcondes has gone. We recalled James Hill from Blackburn because Adam Smith and Max Aarons are both out at right back. And then James Hill came in and got injured. So we haven't got a right back. That's our issue going into the game against you. We've got no right back at all. So I don't really know what we're going to do there. Be interested to see if we put a centre half there or whack one of the midfielders there for a game. But ex-Hammer Ryan Fredericks hasn't kicked the ball.
How's that going on? How's that?
Just the most pointless signing of all time, I think. We signed him on a free, so it kind of sounds like it makes sense from getting a 2-year deal. Yeah, I can remember him playing about 5 games, maybe. His contract runs out in the season and he'll be off. So, him and Darren Randolph, who we both got from you on a free, have not kicked the ball. Very weird. I don't know why we signed them, just for squad depth, I guess. But neither of them are involved at all, ever. So we're struggling a little bit at right back. So we might do something. I don't think, even if it's last minute, it'll be in time for you guys. But we might maybe get a fullback over the line on loan on deadline day, potentially, just in case. But apart from that, mate, we haven't needed to do much. We had a good summer. Tyler Adams still to come back as well. So we're doing okay. Alex Scott's back. We're doing all right in terms of that. So it's, as I said, we had a healthy team, a healthy squad last season, and that's what, as you mentioned with the kind of talk sport and the media, look at it a certain way. But we had a bloody good squad, and I always say, wonder why Dom Solanke only got 6 goals last season, and now look at him that we're playing attacking football, and that's what we knew Dom had in him if we gave him an opportunity and did just leave him there on his own. So really good place, but as you say, a little bit. I probably feel like we deserve for you to have some of your players back, because on the opening day against you, none of your new signings were available. So I think we were quite lucky. I think we got you just before Ward-Prowse, just before Alvarez. So we were probably lucky in that sense.
Because it was 2 weeks after it all sort of began to kindle together for West Ham, and that was all our fault for not getting the deals done. I mean, I think I can quite vividly remember talking to you, going, well, we haven't signed anyone yet. We've got £100 million sitting there from Declan Rice, and we haven't signed anyone yet, and that was a concern. And then getting a point off of Bournemouth, which now looking back, people were looking back in November going, Christ, we should have beat Bournemouth. And now people are going back to it again and going, well, hang on, Bournemouth doing all right. So, we won't worry about that. But I think you're in a really good position now. You aren't going to go down. There's not a chance in hell that's going to happen. And you aren't going to push for those European places. So I think, is it just trying to solidify, maybe just break into that top 10 for Bournemouth this year and really try and just solidify that spot where you are and then push on to try and, dream of Europe next season?
We can dream, mate. You guys have allowed us to dream a little bit. But yeah, I think realistically, we can, somewhere like 12th where we are could probably happen this season. I think sometimes it works the other way where you've got no real pressure on us now, that we can play with no fear and try different bits, and that might help us. But yeah, next season, if we can push on a little bit, I think, like I say, I think that's why in January we're just kind of seeing who we want going forward, get rid of some of the fringe players to, off the wage bill and stuff, and see what Andoni, Iraola, which players he wants, and we can look at players and kind of say, right, are they going to work in his system, etc., and get ready for next season. But yeah, it's enjoyable at the moment. I think we have a go at teams. We might get opened up now and again. We saw that recently against Liverpool. I think at Tottenham we had like nearly 30 shots, but you're going to get opened up on the counter. That's going to happen in games, but far more enjoyable to watch, mate. And I think we're going in the right direction. So that's the main thing. And not being in any sort of scrap is the minimum expectation. And that's what we've managed to do. So yes, it's good times down here, mate. Hopefully we're still in the FA Cup. We've got Leicester at home in the next round. Not easy, but a draw you'd probably take. So, dreaming of maybe having a little run at that if the draw goes our way.
No, that's good. And as well, when you look at, the top goal scorer in this season, and I've smiled at it looking at this season, not only because just Jarrod Bowen has been there, but it hasn't just been Man City, Liverpool, Man United, whoever else. Well, it wouldn't be Man United, but the Man City players and all that. And you look out there, and Haaland's not got injured or whatever, and it's Salah, Bowen, Solanke. And I'm like, oh well, that's quite refreshing. I mean, you mentioned they scored 6 goals last season. He's sort of been rejuvenated this year. How much, how crucial has Dom Solanke been to Bournemouth's success so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, he's been crucial ever since we've had him, to be honest. I mean, he scored like 20 Championship, but then obviously you think, oh, is he Premier League? And the thing is, from a Bournemouth perspective, when you watch him, even last season when he got 6, you thought he's so crucial to the way we play. Unfortunately, he's kind of doing too much work in a weird way. He works too hard sometimes, and he's not in the goal scoring positions. But equally, I always felt last season we left him too isolated in the way we played. And now you're seeing that where we're getting players in and around him and creating for him, whether that be, Tavernier, Alex Scott, Sinistera, Semenyo, it's just taking that bit of responsibility off him and allowing him to just be in the areas you want him to be. And yeah, he's added them goals now. And, I think them final few friendlies for England before the Euros are coming up, and I think he might get a little look in. Obviously, Harry Kane's the main man, and then, Watkins has had opportunities. Not sure what they're going to do about, obviously, Ivan Toney now. But I think, Nketiah has been in squads. Well, Solanke's miles better than him, in my opinion.
Much better,
yeah, I think he'll get a few chances to maybe show whether he goes or not. We'll see. I think him and Watkins probably batting it out at the moment. And obviously then you've got wide men like Bowen who could play through the middle, are getting goals as well. But just really, really pleased for him, to be honest, because he's always been so selfless in the way he plays. And now he's been allowed to just kind of get on with his job and score goals. So, yeah, and from you guys, he hasn't this season gone more than 2 games without a goal, and he now has. So he should score in the next game.
Rock at West Ham. There we go. That sounds about right. Rock at West Ham. Good stuff.
Yeah, it was him and Bowen, wasn't it, on the opening day? So
it was, yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if that were to be the case again. Both them players, I think, are so key to their sides at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, and it's good to see both of them players there. I think Bowen scored about a 25-yarder, and then Solanke got on 10 minutes from time, and I don't think either of them will look back since then, which is good. From the outside looking in, we've talked about it a bit, but what you made of West Ham, you mentioned, not fantastic to watch, which we all agree with, but we're 6th and we can't deny that, and we're comfortably 6th at the moment. We got a point against Sheffield United, which was deemed not very good, and there was a lot of angry faces leaving Bramall Lane 9 days ago now. But I mean, you can't deny where we are. 6th, last 16 of Europe. We're out of the domestic cups, but last 16 of Europe. As you said, it's not great to watch, but from the outside looking in, what have you made of the money we spent in the summer now that it's all sort of come into fruition, and where we are?
Yeah, some really good recruitment. I think some really good additions. I mean, Kudus, what a player he is, and Paqueta I really, really like. I think Alvarez has been decent. I mean, Ward-Prowse, as much as he's from them, not down the road, he's a bloody good player. Not looking forward to his set pieces, I must say. So yeah,
there's a stat for you to throw it back. Ward-Prowse hasn't scored a free kick in a West Ham shirt yet.
Here we go. Brilliant. That's lovely. But yeah, no, some really good additions. But as I say, when I watch you, I just think, oh, could they get them players into it a little bit more? I think against so much like the Arsenal game, for example, and against teams that you kind of think are the favourites against West Ham, I fancy West Ham to nick something always, because I just think disciplined will make it difficult, will frustrate, will kind of make the team that expect to beat you get really frustrated, and then you've got the armory to nick something, which is exactly what happened against Arsenal. When you're playing against teams like Sheffield United, I thought, I'm not sure West Ham will win, which is a weird one, but I just think it's then you're being asked to have more of the ball and go and make something happen, be a bit more creative. And I'm not sure tactically he's adapted enough in games from what I've seen, that sometimes I feel like, well, why are they playing the same way against Arsenal as they are Sheffield United? That makes no sense. And that's how it looks just from when I've watched. But yeah, again, really, really hard to break down. I just think sometimes if he was a little bit more expansive, I think you could be really onto something then. One of the players I mentioned in my preview, really, I don't know if you agree, this is just from when I've watched you, doesn't get the credit is the left back, Emerson. I think
he's brilliant. Yeah.
I think he's one of the best left backs in the league, but just doesn't get looked at.
So nice for somebody else to say that. That's the first time I've heard an opposition fan or anybody else who's not a West Ham fan give Emerson credit. He's been excellent.
Just I mean, you probably won't want to say it because he's Tottenham. I think a doggy's been brilliant. And there's a few left back, but there's not loads of left backs, for me that I think, obviously with Robertson being injured and Shaw, I think who's the top left backs? And I think he's got to be up there for me. I think he's been really, really good. So, but again, there's games where I think let him go a little bit more. But equally, as you mentioned, mate, you are where you are in the league. You're still in Europe, and obviously, it's getting results to a degree. So, yeah, I'm expecting a tough one, but yeah, I'm not sure. I think both. It'll be really interesting because, as I say, when it was O'Neill, it was similar patterns. This time we'll probably have a little bit more of a go. That may suit you on the break, which is my concern with people like Kudus, because we'll get our fullbacks bombing on and might leave us a little bit short in transition, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think it's quite difficult to call. And just discussing Emerson there. I mean, £12 million we paid for him from Chelsea, and he's just been the first game. I'll be honest, first game he played, I thought, what on earth have we got ourselves in for here? Because he was dreadful. But ever since then, I think he played in the Conference League final. Creswell was actually taken out of the side for Emerson. Creswell played the semi-final, and then Emerson came in for the final. And since then, he's been absolutely brilliant. And he's got to be up there, and hopefully with some of these players returning as well. So not from your point of view, but things are just going to start to mold back together. And when you talk about those performances against Arsenal, that result against Arsenal was even better, considering Paqueta went off after 15 minutes and we were without all of them bar Bowen, and we've had issues. We had issues at Sheffield United. I won't mention VAR when we talk about West Ham, Bournemouth, but we were a little bit hard done by there in that sense. And yeah, it's just frustrating where I'm stood in the stand at Sheffield United and they just won't, and Moyes just persists. And I know we've had injuries and all the rest of it, but the persistence to hold back against bottom of the league Sheffield United, who are going to go down, is just the frustrating part of it. It was our own naivety that we didn't win that game, and that's why everyone's just a little bit more negative and held back going into this game, because they've seen what Bournemouth can do this year, and that must be refreshing for you to hear as well.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. I think, like you say, you got a few returning, which isn't ideal for us. But yeah, the way we're playing at the moment, we shouldn't be going into any game with any fear, really, because as we've alluded to, we're normally at this point, if we're in the Premier League, we're trying to fight for our lives, and we're not doing that really. There's too many teams below us, a lot of points. So, and we have got a game in hand on virtually every team because of, if you remember, the Luton game got abandoned. So, we're in a really healthy position. So we should be playing with no fear and having a go at teams, which is, as you say, refreshing, mate. There is a few. Is Kufau out of this game? Was he suspended?
Is he?
He got sent off.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, I forgot about that. So
Ben Johnson, is that the only option you've got there?
Probably Ben Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
It would be Ben.
Ben Rama
But yeah.
suspended. So there is still a few. I know Ben Rama is not. Every time, I don't know what you think. Every time I watch him, I think always a player there, and then it doesn't really happen. So
yeah,
he's
he
probably
is.
not.
He's got one foot out the door. I think he might leave in the next couple of hours. I think he's going to get confirmed. But yeah, Sufar, I completely forgot. Sufar got sent off. I was there. Sufar got sent off.
We looked at it and went, oh, that means he'll be out because it'll be the next game and it'll be in the cup. But you're out of the cup, so we were the next game. That's why we knew that he was out. But is Danny Ings? What the hell's going on with Danny Ings? Is he staying? He's a Bournemouth lad, so
Danny Ings is staying. And do you know what? If you'd have asked me before the Sheffield United game, I would say crap, all the words that you want to say about it, because he has been awful on the whole. But the one thing I will say is against Sheffield United, there was basically when they were doing the warm up, when he was because they were shooting, and the away end was ironically cheering if he hit the back of the net, which couldn't have done him any good, because there is just a sort of a fan base wide sort of like he's just awful, and he has been diabolical. But we got somebody a bit closer to him versus Sheffield United, and he looked a little bit better. He's on the front of the programme for Thursday as well. That means absolutely nothing, but he'll play because Antonio's not there. And Kudus, I think it will go Kudus, Bowen on either side, and Ings down the middle. I think he'll play, and I hope we get somebody up close to him. He almost played against Sheffield United. We are Bowen up front, and he played just a little bit behind it. It wasn't quite a number 10. He was almost a second striker, just playing a little bit off Bowen, and he thrived off it. He should have scored and wrapped the game up, but he didn't. But yeah, he's been awful. But the Sheffield United game, he was just a little bit better.
Yeah, it's a weird one with things. He's like I say, it's Bournemouth lad, kind of come through our place. And was amazing for us, but this is in League One, League Two. Was like come through the academy. So you always want to see him doing all right. I was surprised when you got him because I think he's lost a yard as well. But I always said it that Danny Ings as a lone striker is just pointless. It's absolutely
pointless. Yeah.
He doesn't have the attributes to do it. But I think he's probably the level of in a 4-4-2 in the Championship, he'd rip it up. But now he's probably not. But no, nice to see that he had a little bit of a better game. I was interested to know if he'd play. I wondered if you'd maybe go Kudus, Bowen through the middle, and Cornet, but that's just because he scored. I just looked at him and thought, well, Cornet got a goal. Could he play maybe?
There's been in terms of Cornet, we signed him. He got a big injury. He's played about 3 games in about 2 years, and it got to a stage where he played one European game last year and away in Europe, and the away fans said, "We thought you were dead, Maxwell Cornet. We thought you were dead," which is never a good sign. But listen, I think that was his first goal for the club, and he's been here over 24 months against Sheffield United. I'll be surprised if he starts him, because if we move Bowen out to the right, that's his favourite position. He prefers it out there. Bowen on the right, it'll be Kudus on the left, and Ings through the middle. But what the hell do I know? Moyes can do absolutely anything he wants, and it does change. And trying to read that man's mind, as we've found out over the last 3 years, is incredibly difficult. But look, the one piece of advice I'll give you is eat and drink before you get in on Thursday.
Oh God, yeah, I will be blooming out like £9 a pint or whatever it was. Coming down in the afternoon. A few of us got a day off, so get there early and do it all beforehand. I think it's definitely not my favourite away day, mate. Got to be honest with you.
I don't blame you. If I was an opposition fan, I'd say straight away it's the worst away day of the league, because it just is. If you're in the upper tier, you just will not bother.
I'm so glad that we got that. So our first ever Premier League season as a club was your last year at Upton Park.
Right. Yeah.
It was actually our first ever Premier League win, 4-3. I don't know if you remember it.
Brilliant.
Cole Jenkinson got sent off. There you go.
Oh, Jenkinson. That's yes. Yeah.
But I'm just so glad that we got to experience it, because it was amazing Upton Park. And it at least I know now that I can go, I get why people don't like it, because I've done Upton Park, so I can appreciate why. But it is what it is. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to it, mate. And yeah, it'll be really interesting, because as I said then, if Moyes does a bit of homework, which, as I say, I'm not sure if he will, but if he does a bit of homework, he'll see that every one of our right backs is out. If Kudus is there, running a makeshift, someone that's probably never played right back, you could be in for some joy, mate. And that's my only concern, is if he has done that homework, Kudus, Emerson down that left, when we haven't got a right back, that could be the difference. But yeah, we'll see, mate. I think it'll be an enjoyable one anyway, and both teams should be able to go into it with no fear and have a good game.
Yeah, well, thanks for that. I will ring up Moisey and tell him to put kudos on that side, because it'll be a right back. I haven't played like that before, but no. I think it's quite hard to predict on my predictions that I did earlier. I did 1-0 West Ham, but
Yes,
that's it's not with a lot of confidence because I don't know whether Bournemouth are going to be fair, it's massively dependent whether Kudus is there. There's an expectation that he's there. He came back 3 days ago, and if he's there, Moyes will play him, because he's been brilliant.
yeah,
But Alvarez is another big player as well. You mentioned him. Not many people sort of realise how crucial he is because you take Alvarez out, it falls apart. That's why we've came and brought Calvin Phillips in to fill that hole if Alvarez isn't there. We don't
is
know
he a
if
doubt?
Moyes. We don't know because Moyes hasn't done his press conference yet. And
No.
to be fair, he won't say anything anyway. He'll say he could be, he could not be, because that's what he does every week. Most pointless press conference in the world because he literally says nothing. So to be honest with you, I don't know whether Alvarez is there. If he is there, it's a boost. If not, maybe a Phillips debut. I'm not entirely sure how he's going to integrate him into this side, into the midfield that's already quite congested. But yeah, I think it's quite difficult to predict. Obviously, you've got to back your lads. What are you going to go for?
Yeah, got to back us to get something, mate. I think, I think we'll score. I think it's rare that we don't at the moment, and we didn't in the last one against Liverpool. So I fancy us to score. But yeah, I do think it'll be tricky. I'm actually going to go, I said it on our preview, I'm going to go for the exact same as the opening day. 1-1, Solanke and Bowen. I think it's going to be exactly the same, which is very rare. But I feel like it could happen. And yeah, I will take that. We've got I think we've got Forest at home on Sunday at the weekend. Then we got Fulham. So I think if we can take our away game at West Ham, nick a point, and then hopefully beat Forest, that'd be a good 4 points for us. So yeah, 1-1 draw, mate.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah. I don't know. I think from our perspective, of course, I mean both sides would like to win, of course. But looking ahead, I mean, you showed us a couple of months ago it's quite easy to go to Old Trafford and win. So we've got them on Sunday. So even if we don't beat you, it's going to be all right. Sunday we'll make up for it. But
you'll win that. But that would be like I was mentioning earlier.
Mm.
That's how Moyes will win because he'll go there to Old Trafford, let them have the ball, which we did, just let them have it. Because they've got no confidence at all. And every time you break on Man United, they're soft as hell. So exactly. I'll be back in West Ham for that, mate. So let's take a draw and then we'll both win at the weekend. Fine by me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, thank you very much, Tom, for joining me. Any final words?
Up cherries, up the hammers. Let's have a good one. Let's both take a draw and we'll both win at the weekend. No problem.
Yeah, there we go. And my one piece of advice is I don't know whether they do it in the away end, but the only decently priced food in the stadium is the pies. That's the only thing. They're about £5.50, which is very steep, but I mean you're paying 12 quid for a hot dog, so you're struggling.
Don't.
You're struggling.
They'll have a pie.
And it's a night match with that, and there'll be absolutely zero atmosphere. So I don't know how you're looking forward to it, to be honest with you.
Can't wait.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Tom, thank you very much indeed for watching. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to West Ham Official if you're new. You can check out Tom at Back of the Net on YouTube. But as you said, up the cherries, up the hammers. Come on, you irons, and I will see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.